morning of a week that won't be much of a week, especially for my students. Second stage of the Art of Leadership course that I'm signed up for. It goes 3 days in a row, 8:30 through till 6, down at Rooty Hill. Head teacher of maths is joining me in this session because she wasn't able to make her group's second session before. This is something that the school is really heavily investing in. Every head teacher is being put through the course. So that for 3 days, and then Thursday we have a transition with one of the local public schools. Put my hand up to do sessions with them because I couldn't do the previous group from a different public school. So the head teacher welfare who organised it said, well, I'll put you down for black. I said, okay. So Monday to Thursday, working but not on class. That'll leave Friday as my only day. I feel bad for year 8. They've missed periods here and there, and then some days when I'm there so we can hopefully get into the workshop, I end up having a combined class because we have an intense teacher shortage. It is an ongoing problem, and it's been exacerbated by the government ripping away funding from all public schools to try and fund a shortfall. They took out a percentage of funding from every single public school in the state. They also froze funds that we had in a separate section of our banking accounts for the schools, which all comes directly from the department. It's not a school bank account anymore. It's just a bucket, sub-dissection, whatever they want to call it. And that was for staff and other projects. We had a fair bit of money there for maintaining some of the staff we've got who are on contracts, and for projects around the school, one of which was going to be like a toilet block on the Oval, because our school is really low on toilet blocks. But various projects that were going to be happening around the school and for professional development. And anything that had not been paid yet can't happen. Money just got frozen. The boss was saying he was looking at the accounts and all of a sudden the money didn't exist anymore. It was completely gone. He then had to do a whole stack of stuff around our budgets, and in order to maintain all of our staff, he had to chop all the faculty budgets by an amount. Faculties that had larger budgets got chopped more than faculties that had smaller budgets, just because it was like, smaller faculty, not as much money, we can't take as much away from you. I do not begrudge having the money taken out of my budget to maintain staff at the school, because we do have a lot of support staff in the school that will enable special programs and small groups and everything like that to happen in the school. And if those staff were not in our school, I think a lot of our kids who need the most support and create havoc otherwise would be just creating havoc around the school. Start talking about my day, end up talking about crap that's happening in the department. Apparently, public school numbers across the state have been dropping, with people taking their students out of public schools and trying to get them into the private system or even the independent Catholic system because of the lack of staffing in public schools, because they felt that their students weren't getting enough classroom time, because if a teacher was away, they couldn't cover the class, so classes got collapsed and like good teaching wasn't happening. A lot of that happened because teachers got fed up with the way we seem to have lacked support through and post-lockdown. The system got so disrupted that people were leaving. Like, we lost 4 staff in our school to the private sector because they finally got fed up. But the government was basically saying, well, this whole thing of them taking the money away. They've said, well, you're losing numbers of students to the private sector, so you obviously don't need all of the teachers that you have or all of the funding, so we're taking the funding off you, and you can have the funding back when your numbers come back up. Well, our numbers can't come back up because we don't have the staff to cover the classes. We don't have the staff to cover the increased number that we'd need to get to in order to get that money back. So it's just it's an absolute joke. The logic that they used, they put me in a bad mood, sorry. I'm gonna stop talking. 35 minutes till my course starts. My GPS said I'll get there with 10 minutes to spare. Go straight down the freeway to the M7 and sort of circle around to the RSL. I'm going to check and make sure that's still the case. Wednesday morning, been through 2 days of the course and long days, 8:30 through to 6. Really brain draining. The last activity is usually something to try and get us a little active while still thinking about the concepts. They're good in the way that they tie your thinking in. It's good to see the people, again, that were doing the course, catching up with the people that you had sort of as your support network, and also your reflective partner, which is just one person that you basically work with to have your self-reflection and reflecting off each other. And it was really interesting and we only found out yesterday that the woman that I'm working with as a reflective partner, we sort of gravitated towards each other on the first day because we were the only 2 high school teachers. Everybody else was special ed or primary school. She's from a country school, but it was only yesterday that we discovered that she was a student of our college. However, she went to senior campus and she did her year 12 while I was already teaching in the college. I think she was in year 10 when I started there. To see, I guess, how far she's moved along in her career, and it's really no different to the number of ex-students who are now staff, and even some being executive staff at our school, because they came back to give back. They love their area. Today's the last day. I don't believe we go all the way through till 6 today. I think it's meant to be a 4:30 finish, which will be good because being able to get home a little earlier will be nice. Another beautiful autumn day. It's the nip in the air, but it's quite like it's nice when you're in the sun. In fact, yesterday when I arrived at the course, the sun was streaming through the window, and I went, well, I don't want to be facing the sun and squinting, so I went and sat over on that side with my back to the sun, and when the sun started coming through the window on the back, it got quite warm. The course is complete, so we were told to also make sure we had our NESA teaching number, because it was accredited as a certain amount of hours of accredited PL. We have to maintain our accreditation. I think it's every 5 years. You have to have done a certain amount of PL, both accredited and teacher identified. Back to school today, however, not back to the usual grind. I've taking part in a transition day for some year 5 and 6 students from one of our feeder schools. I think this is the 4th one this year. I'm doing woodwork. Noughts and crosses board game set up in little stations so that it can be done from start to finish in less than an hour. I forgot to message my staff yesterday to say, can you please make sure that woodwork 2 is tidy, because that's the room I'm going to be in. So that's what I've got to do this morning to make sure it's all set up and that I have all the things set out, because the last time I ran it last year, I think I set it up the day before. Got all the materials I need ready, but I've got to go and grab the drills from the construction site so that I've got enough drills and batteries. Yet another full-on day. 4 groups throughout the day. Then we've got college KLA meetings this afternoon down at Senior. So tomorrow will be my first day back in class. Friday, should be back at work as normal. Cloudy. The deputy came to me yesterday and said they weren't feeling well and that they may not be in today, but they would play it by ear. They rang me last night and said I'm not well enough to be in tomorrow, so if you can sit in for me, that'd be great. Work out if you need to, any classes that need to be covered. I'm not sure what your day's like. I waited till this morning to see what the head teacher admin had done. I only had year 10 and year 12 today, but when I say only, I don't really want to miss them, especially year 12. Parent interview scheduled for 11, and the front office gave me a heads up about that yesterday just in case. That could run past recess, which is into period 3, which is when I got year 10. Head teacher admin has a year 10 class at the same time. They are in my faculty, and quite often she will combine our 2 classes. Completely different classes, but she manages them well. She's put down a minimum supervision for year 12. Generally, year 11 and 12s aren't covered because of the lack of staff, and they're meant to work on self-study. A lot of the times the kids won't. Definitely want to try and get up to year 12. So I think I'll try and get that set up, and then I can be back at the office for the last session of the day. I just feel really bad about missing some of the classes repeatedly. Like, I should have had year 12 yesterday, but because of the primary school transition, I wasn't on class. Look at my calendar moving ahead, because I know I still have some things that I'm out of the school for. One is next week, which I think is the last day of the advanced practicum for choice theory. Just lucky that that's actually the same day as the sports carnival, so I won't miss any classes there, unless the weather forecast is correct and it's going to rain for most of next week. Thursday we have Multicultural Day. Friday I think we have a Careers Expo. I'm going to an Aspiring DP conference in a few weeks' time. I have to look at what day that is now and see what classes it affects. I've also got a mandatory training coming up for that metal and engineering. The courses, or the qualification, has slightly changed again, so there's an upgrade required. Some of the upgrade is through RPL, and when I was talking to the metals and engineering teacher at Senior Campus yesterday at our KLA meeting, he said that he didn't need to go anywhere, it was just an online module. And he said, and I don't see that you'd have to do anything more than me, because we've both gone through all the upgrades together. So I'm going to try and have a look at what that is, because I've got all the enrolment done, but I think I need to get on to TAFE to see what the modules are. and we're right in the throes of reports at the moment and trying to get them done and checked while I've been off on very long days. Not easy. We'll get through today. Weekend ahead. Forecast said fine, rain in the afternoon. Wants me to try and get some stuff done in the yard.